everybody. Welcome to the podcast. It may interest you to know. I'm Toni Marcolini, and I'm really excited today to have with me an up-and-coming Cuban American singer, and who's got a song right now that's just very hot and climbing the charts. So, thank you for joining me, and welcome, Sasha Prendes.
Hello.
So I want to get to your latest hit, obviously, but I always like to go back to the beginning. And from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, you had, I guess, this passion for singing, obviously, when you were younger. I know you did some martial arts and stuff like that, which I'll get to as well. But I understand you learned how to sing from watching like Disney tapes.
Yes,
Is
this
that
is
right?
true. This is true. Disney sing-along tape. Yep.
So this is like when you're young. So I mean, are you 5 years old? Are you 7, 10 years old? Like when does the singing bug hit you?
I was talking so early as a toddler. I believe I spoke before I walked. I have to ask my mother. But I mean, literally, I had a seizure at like 1 years old, and in the ambulance, my mom and I are singing the ABCs to like keep me awake, you know. So I've been singing for a long time, and my parents are, you know, we're Latinos, we're Cuban, so there's always music playing. My grandparents always had music playing. So I just think I was like born with rhythm in my genes.
Okay, so now you deviate a little bit from that path of singing to go into martial arts, right? Your father had an interest in that, and you kind of followed his footsteps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got good at it too. Like you won as I understand, you won a championship.
Multiple championships.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So don't mess with you.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, I mean, wow, that's amazing. And most women, um, try to take classes of some kind, to learn how to defend themselves, but to actually earn a championship in martial arts is an amazing thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
But now there comes a point where you say, even though I'm doing so well at this is not what I want.
Correct. And that's exactly what happened. You know, doing it for 4 or 5 years, it was incredible. It was an incredible experience. I had actually I was dancing before then. I was doing competitive dance. And that world, you know, even in the level that I was at, you know, at 10 years old, 11 years old, I was doing both. I was doing Taekwondo and I was dancing. The amount of bullying that I experienced in dance was atrocious. And I, you know, was raised to be kind, and I was raised to stand up for myself. And so it was just so hard to deal with the level of pettiness. And I remember one time it really hurt my feelings that I wanted to have a solo. I was like, I want to do a solo. And I saw girls competing, dancing and singing at the same time. So I was like, this is perfect for me, you know? And the teacher, the instructor said to my mom privately that she was like, I don't think Sasha's ready for a solo. And my mom's like, I'm willing to pay for, you know, classes for Sasha to train with you. And that really hurt my feelings. And it was that point that I left dance and literally walked down the street and started going to Taekwondo. And I went to Gocho's martial arts. And that changed my entire life because everyone there is about respect, integrity, discipline. Like you walk into class and the first thing you do is bow before you get on the mat. And then you get there and you stand in at ease and you read, you know, you recite, you know, the mantra, you recite, you know, the rules. It's like the, you know, the 10 commandments of martial arts. And it's like, I'm on time, I'm disciplined, I respect my peers and my instructors, you know. So that really changed my life. And then when it came to leaving the team, you know, I was on the Olympic training team. I was doing, you know, I was on peak performance. I was training under various Olympians. And it was hard. It was badass. But one day towards the end of my martial arts career, I got kicked in the face.
Mm.
And very few times have I been kicked in the face. You know, like it was my first time having like and I fought boys, right? Because we're in class and there are less girls. And so I would fight the boys, which is what made me great. And homie kicked me in the face. These nothing happened, but it was just like the shock. I don't know if you've ever been hit in the nose, but like that is like it completely paralyzes you. And I just remember losing my shit, and I was like, this was a sign, because the whole time it was like, I want to be a pop star, right? I want to sing, I want to do this. But you know, I was also 12, 13, 14 years old. And in Kansas, you know, my parents didn't know how to get me involved in the entertainment industry. I mean, especially at the time, it was pretty slim pickings. So getting kicked in the face, you know, when you're really good and no one kicks you in the face, and then all of a sudden you have like a 180-pound man kick you in the nose, I was like, all right, I need to save this
That's
face for the next level, right? For the ultimate goal. So that was at the end. But you know, I bowed out gracefully. On my last year I won a gold medal championship, and I qualified from winning um to go and I don't want to call it an audition, but it was basically like to go into team trials, where basically you fight all the other champions, and then whoever wins gets to join like the USA Olympic team. So I qualified for that. And then I was just like, I can't, like, these girls are badass. Like, I don't have the commitment enough anymore, you know, to train 6, 7 days a week and continue to fight. So that was when I was like, okay, I want to be a teenager. I want to cheer. I want to get involved in theater. And I did that.
wow. Yeah, what a role model you are, truly. Well, first of all, I mean, I think three cheers to the athletes that are out there that do train for the Olympics,
Yeah.
right? Because that's just a lifelong commitment that they give up. They do literally give up their childhood and their teen years to dedicate to the single purpose of training, right? So
Yeah.
that is, you know, the really, I have a lot of respect for the people who do that. So let's say that. But the thought that you were mature enough, I guess, at that age or that point in your life to say, yes, I'm good at this. Look at the brass ring, because a lot of people would be somewhat mesmerized by the concept of being on the Olympic team. You know, the glory of that, right? That they would keep reaching for that and wouldn't have the ability to process on that level, right? To intellectually say, you know, I need to step off of this ride here, even though I'm so close to something so amazing,
Yeah.
and to follow a passion, really to have the presence of mind or the self-knowledge to do that, I think is pretty impressive. More than that, is why I say you're truly a role model, because at the point that you are choosing something that's right for you, and taking the time to think about what's right for you at such a young age, I think is a role model for young women everywhere. You know, to know that one, you can work hard at something to achieve, and two, even if you're, you know, even if you're at a point in your life that you've worked to get to at any point, if you're feeling your gut is telling you something is wrong, not right for you, it's okay to follow that. It's okay to follow your gut and do what's right for you. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna applaud you for that.
You know, I really like how you just said, you know when to step off the ride. And I had a lot of guilt leaving the team. I had a lot of guilt. And even worse, there were other people on the team, other women who were really mean to me when I wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Like, I decided to go and volunteer afterward and, like, you know, still help train like the little kids and the little girls and stuff. And some of the older girls were just so mean to me. And I was like, all right, I don't know where this is coming from, but this is no longer the super healthy, incredible environment that I, you know, grew up in for the last several years. And, And like you said, it was time for me to move forward. And there's that concept, where parents are like, you can't quit, right?
Mm.
They're like, you can't quit. And so my parents, we had talked about it previously. And then when I won gold, I was like, okay, I can bow out gracefully now. Like I left on top. I didn't like keep going and have my morale super low and then get my ass kicked in the black belt division. And, one of the hardest things about winning gold that year was not even the fight. It was that I had to lose like 8 pounds in 2 days. So I'm wearing like a trash bag suit. I'm doing sit-ups in the parking lot in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, outside of the big conference center where all the fights were. And the bigger girls, they cut weight to get into my division. So, and then, it's just a lot. It's a lot like wrestling. It's a lot like UFC in the sense of, you have to cut weight. You have to be in a certain division to make it fair for everyone. And that shit just became too much for me. And again, I was like, I want to be a pop star. I gotta now navigate. I'm on this next chapter of my life. I'm 15, gonna be 16. Like I gotta do something different. So, don't feel bad. I guess my message to everyone is like, don't feel bad if you're no longer passionate about something. Like give it your all, go for it. And parents are like, you're gonna play soccer this year. Okay, you're not gonna quit midway through the season, and I think that's super important to teach, commitment. But if you don't love it, don't do it.
I couldn't agree more. I'm a cancer survivor, so for me,
Oh,
life's about finding the joy and the passion. Right? Life is too short, truly, to spend significant periods of time on things that you're not experiencing joy with. Right? So,
yeah.
I agree with you. Follow your passion. So you do follow your passion, right? So let's talk about that. How do you find your way towards this career, this beautiful career you're in now?
You know, moving to New York 7 years ago was the greatest decision of my life. I've been through a lot of things, nothing like cancer. So again, I'm so happy that you are happy and healthy and living your life to the fullest. That is huge, being a survivor. My aunt had breast cancer, and it's super difficult. So I applaud you for that and being a fighter. You are also a
Thank
role
you.
model.
Thank you.
Um, moving to New York was huge. And my dad lives out here, and a big chunk of my family lives out here because I was born in Jersey and then moved to Kansas as a kid. So, so I grew up, 18, 20 years in the Midwest. So coming back was amazing. And it was really just a lot of trial and error. It was like connecting with people on Instagram. Oh, you make music. Oh, you want to take my photo? Let's do a photo shoot. Let's collab. And then, one thing led to another, and you continue to meet people. And then, I did my first EP in 2019. 2020, I did another EP with Hanan Rubenstein, who is a phenomenal producer and guitarist and literally plays every single instrument and is a vocal coach. Like I can't like Hanan is like oh to me. And then this last year, Hanan just put me and D Lawrence, my current producer, with Asia Live Records, in a group chat and was like, you guys should work together. And the magic just kind of went from there. I mean, D and I just have such a good connection. We're always cracking up. We're always laughing. I'm super silly. I know I'm composed right now, but I'm a total goofball in the studio, and we made magic, and that's how Shake This came to be.
Now, before I get to shake this, let me ask: do you write your own material, or do you find you pair yourself with songwriters?
So my entire career has been me writing my own songs. This is the first time I have sang someone else's song. And when I say someone else's song, it's also like it's still my song too, in the sense that,
You
D
put
and
your
I
own, you put
me
your
I
own
make it
spin on it.
I make it my own, and that was the cool part. He's like, I don't know how you do this. Like I wrote it like this, and then you just did it like this, and he'll be like, I like that. We're gonna keep that. But he wrote it, and he wrote it with me in mind. He literally woke up one day. I mean, we're very close, right? So we talk about, personal experiences. And I remember one day he woke up one morning and was just like, I gotta shake this. And was like, and then
Yeah.
called me and was like, get to the studio right now. And he was like, here's the song, shake this up. And I was like, Cool, D. Cool. That's a I guess we'll just figure it out when we get there. And that's the best way to work, in my opinion, is improv and on the spot. And D Lawrence is a fucking genius, like musical genius, lyrical genius. And that's how the song came about. I really didn't know that it would be, so well received. So very, very grateful that that
Well,
happened.
well, you do. You have this song. You just said, "Shake This." That's uh, really just such a popularity that it's grown so quickly, like the song. So let's talk about that. First, congratulations. I mean, some artists are in it, their whole career and never get a hit, and you have one that's truly becoming a fast favorite. So what's that like? What's that like to record, and how was it recording the song?
It was freaking hilarious. We're in there cracking up the whole time. Time to throw away the compromising. It was just like, oh, we got to let go of these things that are holding us down. And so that's where it came from. It's an uplifting song. It makes you feel good, but it talks about some deep shit. Like I've been like kind of hiding, like improvising my own demise. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, like when we get into these dark spirals and we have these negative thoughts just ruminating in our minds, and then it's just like we got to shake this. And it's my first like positive uplifting song. Actually, no, just kidding. I have another song that I wrote called Brooklyn, which is like my love song to Brooklyn and to a Brooklyn boy that I fell in love with. But I write sad girl music, so like be prepared for when like my personal albums come out in the future. They're gonna be a little more acoustic and a little more sad. But that's the cool part about D is I'm actually an incredibly happy person. I am happy all the time. I am positive. I have high energy. I don't know how, but I just do. And it's nice to work with someone who can pull that out of me, you know?
Well, now talk to me about what I focus a lot in the podcast about the creative process, and it looks so different to everybody. Right? I've had authors on, I've had musicians on, and everybody says something a little bit different. Some people create spontaneously, some people plan out, right? And I think authors show that the most. Like some people need to, outline every chapter in advance, have everything prepared, think the whole story out. Some people can only write sitting behind the computer with their fingers on the keyboard. Otherwise, they're only existing, ready to go. Like they can't do it any other way. And everybody has such a different process. I've had people who I have to go jogging, or my things come to me when I'm in the shower. What's that look like to you? What's your creative process like?
I feel inspiration at all times of the day. Like there is no real moment. And when I've been going through a lot of things or breakups or, like got my feelings hurt or not, or had that like first time feeling, which is what I like to write about. That's where my positive songs come from. It's that first time feeling, it's before the first 90 days, like before you start seeing all the red flags, you just capture that moment and it's like, like a snapshot in time. And, you know, for me, if I have a lot going on, I cannot just like start singing without recording it, because if I do, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is usually the best, is usually the thing I'm going to work with. And to like let it out and then forget about it, which I do, I kind of like hold it all in, and then something will be like, okay, I just need to sing. And then I'll just press record and I'll just start singing, or I'll take out the guitar, or I'll play like a beat off YouTube and we'll just freestyle. All of my songs are freestyles originally, just like me letting out and telling the story.
Oh, I love that. Do you play an instrument then?
A little bit, yeah. I'd call myself a novice in guitar. Nothing crazy.
Okay, now let's get a deep dive a little bit on Shake This. You remember your first time performing it live?
Sure do. Sure do. At my album release party, which was awesome. It went great. Like I was so happy. I was like, wow, that was fabulous. And then since then, singing it live, it's just been so smooth and comfortable. Like, yeah, I get a little nervous before I go on stage, but it's now like just embedded in the back of my head, I know how to sing it. So
Now you recorded a great video for it,
the
right?
video, the video's so cute. It's just
Yeah,
so
it is.
goofy.
It is. It's a great video. So who's did you come up with the idea for the video? Or was it a collaboration, or how did that work?
It was all D
Oh.
Lawrence. He had the vision. He's also a director, producer. He does a little bit. He literally is a jack of all trades. And he was like, this is the vision I have for the video. And then once again, here we are on set. And it's like, all right, this is what you're gonna do. And I'm like, okay. And then of course I had my own spin to it.
Yeah, it's a great video. So now let's
Thank
talk of the
you.
song. I mean, it's doing so well. It's been so well received. Tell me a little bit about that. What's your experience now? Or, what are people saying to you at this point? Like,
Everyone
are
loves the
people
track.
coming over to you like, oh my goodness, I love your song? I mean, are you getting a
Yeah.
lot of positive feedback from fans?
So much positive feedback. It has been so well received abroad as well, which makes me really happy. We have a Spanish version and an English version.
Oh, cool.
So the Spanish version has actually been kicking butt. So I'm like, wow, okay, this is great. In other countries that aren't predominantly Spanish speaking. So it's really nice to have, people who speak, so many different languages and the song is still resonating with them, regardless that it's not in their native language. And that makes me really happy because that's the message, right? That's the groove of the song. It's not just the lyrics, it's also the vibe. It's how it makes you feel, you know, biologically, right? Music is the one thing that just connects all of us. And we still scientifically don't even understand why that is. But I think it's just like the movement of like our cells and how our bodies are constantly, rebuilding themselves. And it's all this energy transfer and it's some science stuff that I'm not specialized in, but it makes me feel amazing that people love the song truly. It's just so validating for all the years of hard work.
Well, there's something about music, right? And certainly this is not a unique statement to me, right? But there's something about music that truly freezes a moment in time for us, right? I mean, you can play, there's various songs in my life that will literally bring me to the moment, right? That you hear the song and you're right back in the moment you were the first time you either heard it, or that it was playing during something that was happening in your life. Music has the unique ability to do that. Right, that I know of really nothing else, no other. I mean, people say olfactory senses, like your smell can bring you back to but
Yeah.
music absolutely brings you to the moment you were in.
Yeah.
Like nothing other, and you can relive those emotions. All right, so that's a really powerful tool to have, like that you are creating something that may mean so much to somebody, and again may help permanently freeze their moment. So I do think that that's almost a burden to carry, isn't it? Knowing that you're going to have that significant impact in somebody's life, like very little other art does.
And that is something that I love. I heard a line that was many years ago, and it was like, music and whatever current music is out is the soundtrack of your life. There are these memories that you have, like Y2K, like, you put some jams on, put some Britney on, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is my song. And like I remember, being in fifth grade and making up dances and whatnot. But also too, like to be the soundtrack of your life. I mean, that's what I want because so many other artists were the soundtrack of mine,
Yeah.
for the good times and the bad times. And music is also very freeing.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's a responsibility, but it's one that I believe that I was born to carry, and I'm strong enough. God wouldn't give me something that I couldn't handle. And I believe, like, I have been a leader my whole life. Even as a little kid, I was like super bossy, and that doesn't necessarily make you a leader, but I wanted to be a leader, and therefore, you know figuring it out, trial and error, what works. I feel that I have a lot of great leadership qualities that I've acquired over the years, and I'm proud of that. I'm happy to carry that.
So talk to me now about Shake This and your career now. What's going on? What are the exciting things you're doing right now?
Well, I just wrapped up Fashion Week. It was my first Fashion Week in New York. First Fashion Week ever. And I sat front row at various shows, which was really cool. Such an honor. I performed at several shows, which was really cool. I did 2 shows over the weekend at Sony Hall, which is kind of where I got my start. I had my first 2 big performances in 2021 over there, and not singing my own songs. And this year I got to come back, and it was all about me, and it was all about Shake This. And I got up there and I fucking killed it. And I was so nervous. Like when I run off stage, like when I get off stage, I like run straight to the dressing room. And sometimes I like cry, or, like I'll be like, oh my God, that was so terrible. And then like, when my team is smiling at me and going, no, that was great. Like no one noticed that part, or no one, whatever. Um, I'm just so grateful that I have support, right? They're not just yes men. Like they're going to tell me like that fucking sucked, but I always judge myself. And then it's like, okay, the performance is over. You need to revel in it. And one of my very good friends, James Oliver, he would be like, we're not doing this right now. We're not doing this. We're not going through the parts that you messed up on. We're not doing that. We're going to go out there. We're going to say hello to the fans. We're going to have a good time. And the fact that you got up there by yourself and sang your songs, is huge. And so I'm really proud of myself. And I know that people don't always say that about themselves. We talk super negatively to ourselves. I'm guilty of that. But I am super proud of myself for Fashion Week, and changing in the car, and switching outfits and switching dresses, and getting up there. And it was so freaking hot in a lot of these studios, and it's been 100 degrees out here. And so it was so fast. It was like, get in the car and come here and leave halfway here. And it was just like, it was some rock star shit. I loved it.
Yeah, well, that's exciting. Most women would really be going nuts to experience that. So that's pretty exciting. Are you,
It's on my oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Oh, you were saying like so many women would like want to be a part of that. And, my advice to y'all is to make a vision board. I have a vision board of my, I was watching here, let me restart. So I was on Masterclass, that really cool app that they have all these celebrities come in and like teach different
Yeah.
things. So I took the Kris Jenner marketing masterclass, and she does vision boards all the time. And she said, do one that is for your daily life. How you want to wake, like what would be the perfect day for you? How you want to wake up to how you want to go to bed. And mine is this like snake of chronological order. And it starts with like me waking up in the morning with my cats, like journaling, having my coffee, fitness. There's an image of like a woman at a desk, with papers and stuff. So to me, I'm like, okay, let's do some admin stuff. Let's check some emails. Let's make sure everything's organized, all the way down to like, an image of like a rock star being like held up by a crowd with a microphone, clearly at some sort of festival. And I have hair and makeup, and I always like cut out the eyes or have it be a faraway picture so I can like truly envision myself in the photo. And that's really helped me a lot. And if you look at it, I don't share it, but if you look at it, my friends will come up and be like, you are literally doing this. This is your everyday life. And if y'all want to be in Fashion Week, if you want to be a model, a singer, a doctor, an astronaut, whatever it is you want to do, make a vision board. And it's just so powerful.
Sure. Wow. Yeah, that is and you know what? I have heard some other people doing that. I don't know. When I was young, years ago, like I don't remember things like that being as prevalent. And honestly, I don't think that um women thought as strongly about following these type of career dreams even when I was younger. So I'm thrilled when I see I see a young successful female you know, being an example and following their dreams and showing you really can truly be anything you want to be, right? Like that little commercial that says, you know, if you can see her, you can be her, right? That's exactly right. Like if you can see
Yeah.
yourself doing something in your lifetime, do it. Follow your dream. And so I do, again, I think that's another powerful message, and that's good advice. I mean, because I think that visual connects you probably in a way that's seldom other things can. You know, the having a visual of yourself some places, the imagery of that, I think, can truly draw you towards something. The more you can imagine it, the more you can focus on it, that, you know, that's like a magnet towards that success. So I agree, and I think that's great advice. So are you going to be touring anytime soon?
So I've just been saying I'm touring already because it's just been bananas, back and forth from Miami and having all these pop-up shows. I think I just got a call yesterday that was like, hey, we need you Thursday and Sunday at this event. I'm like, dope, let's go. And I just feel so confident in myself, musically. It's like I know what I'm singing, I love what I'm singing. And as far as tour goes, like a proper like tour, um, I just feel like we have so much data and information right now, to put together like a really, really cool package. And we have a couple of options right now of people that I can open for. So all of this chart topping, all of these cool shows, all of this content, that's the thing. Like you just got to put yourself out there. And and so
Now,
I'm
how
excited.
excited were you when you hit the top? Like when you saw your song, uh, you know, as it climbed and then it hit the top. Like, what's that moment like? Did you see it yourself? Did somebody call and say you ought to look? Uh, how
Yeah.
did you first hear the news? Because I think you hit number one.
I'm pretty sure I saw it online, just like randomly.
You saw
And
it
also
yourself.
I
Okay.
saw it myself. And then, obviously had 20 messages in the group chat with my team, which was cool. And, I will say, I went from 16 to 5 to 2 to 1, on various charts. And the quality of the music is there. It can compete with all other top pop artists. And I'm super proud of that. And the way I felt, believe it or not, I didn't have like this crazy overly excited reaction. And I remember asking myself, like, why am I not like punching holes in the wall out of joy? Like what, like why am I not, fucking freaking out right now? And I think after, attempting and trying and struggling to become an artist, since I was 15, since I left Taekwondo, it honestly, it felt well deserved.
Mm.
And in my head, I was like, I'm not completely surprised. It's a great song, and I know it, and my team knows it, and now everybody else does too. And it was just incredibly validating because, man, like when you're struggling and you live off tuna sandwiches and Campbell's soup, and you have producers who try to sleep with you, or hold your music hostage for more money, and steal your footage, and you pay for your footage for a music video, and they don't give you the foot. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. And that's just, barely scratching the surface of some of the things I went through. So, other than just being so grateful, I it's hard to say. I think that when women talk about being proud of themselves, we kind of get shit on as like being conceited. And I don't think that's true. I think that when you've worked your whole life and you've, blood, sweat, tears, and some more blood, like at one point you just got to be like, whoo, finally, it's about damn time, and
So,
I'm just,
so for you, that
yeah.
joy, that's how it came through. You were just more like relieved it finally was, feeling validated and relieved that it finally, you were receiving truly the credit that, your music deserves. Now, obviously, there are some people who have that, like that Tom Cruise, was it Risky Business moment, right? That they're sliding across the floor in their underwear, they're dancing around, when the minute they hear something like that. But for you, it had that washover moment, right? There's some people who dance around, and some people who have the kind of moment you have, like it just the moment of it, the magnitude of the moment just kind of washes over you, and you say, like I'm here, like I've done this, right? And there's that
Yeah.
moment that you almost have internally with yourself. So I think that's really cool.
I found
Um,
that same feeling wash over me when I won my last gold medal in Taekwondo as well
yeah,
on the podium. It was like, I just was so exhausted. And I think the biggest challenge for me was cutting weight and being able to just not give up, coming in, weighing at the limit was 107.8. And on the scale, it was 107.8, 107.9, 107.8. And they're like, you made it, you made it. And I mean, I literally got out of the ring, like shaking, like, it was a lot. And I think that this is the first time I've actually thought about it like that, that the feeling was really similar.
yeah,
And I think everyone should be proud of themselves for accomplishing things, you know,
yeah.
obviously effort, excuse me, obviously effort is super important. Like, yeah, but to actually win and in all ways in music and sports and in at work, whatever it is, like you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
I hate the concept that like we have to like, keep it under wraps, but I think that you can be proud of yourself in a way that comes off as cool, calm, and mature. And
Agreed. So tell everybody how they can get information about you. What's the best place to go? Where do you list your information about where you're going to be, where you're appearing, your how to get your songs?
so Instagram is number one. I feel as though Instagram is kind of like a resume for everyone. It shows all of your content, has everything going. So at Sasha Prendes with an S. And also go to sashaprendes.com and you guys can sign up for my newsletter and get all the exclusives. We're going to be dropping a merchandise line soon. Um, I just, again,
Those are
I'm
the
just,
best. Go to your website, go to your Instagram, and you
and
can find out.
Spotify, Apple Music, literally Google Play, everywhere music lives, you can find me. And again, that in itself is such a huge blessing. So
Oh, Sasha, thank you so much for being here today. I really enjoyed getting the opportunity to talk with you.
me
And I
too.
hope you'll come back again as you continue to come out with new music and take the music world by storm. I hope, you continue to come back and chat with me about your creations.
Yeah, Tony, girl, definitely coming back. I do want to say one more thing,
Sure.
for the girls and for the boys who are out there, struggling and are, in this limbo of feeling like they don't know the next step to
Yeah.
accomplish their goal. They don't know what to do. So I'd say like my biggest few pieces of advice are make a vision board and get really clear about what it is that you want. Get on Pinterest, cut out pictures, print that and put it up and so that you can see it all the time. Second is be proud of yourself for every milestone because what happens is when you win, you move the finish line further and further and further. So you never really accomplish, right? In your own mind. So accept the wins, cross that finish line, and then run another race
Mhm.
because it can be overwhelming, but and then just don't give up. Just don't give up, y'all. Just there's so many times it's just doing anything other than music is just for me was just not an option. And so if that's the case for y'all, do what it is that you love and the money will come and the opportunities will come.
Oh, I love that. I really, truly do love that, for advice because I think it is very important not to give up. The best things in life, right, are earned through our labor and our passion. Um, in reality, most things worthwhile do not come easy. And I think there's a temptation to give up once you don't succeed quickly or you don't accomplish your goals quickly. And I think that's great advice. If you want it, it can happen and just stick with it. right? Because every
Yeah,
time you get knocked down, get up.
you have to.
Um,
You
yeah.
have to keep going. You will not be happy if you don't go for it, if you don't at least try. And you may not hit what you thought was your dream, but God also has a way of redirecting you to where you're going to find happiness, and it's bigger and better than you could have ever imagined. So just don't quit. Just keep going.
Uh, you know what? That's beautiful advice. And thank you. Thank you for saying that. And I do think it's important. It's important for women who are successful to reach, to reach back and try to help people who are behind them, right? The younger women who are coming up behind them, and to send positive messages. There's not enough positive messages, I think, for young women today. So I'm always happy to share that. I'm really thrilled when I get a successful female on who recognizes that and takes a moment to pause in their own success to say that. So
You got to take it in. You got to take it in, girl. You gotta take it in. Be proud of yourself.
so kudos and thank you. Thank you for taking that moment. I appreciate it. And
Yeah.
again, I hope to see you soon. I'm know that
Yes.
I'm out there watching as you're doing amazing things, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
For sure, girl, for sure. We're gonna have a blast. There's so much coming, and I'm excited to continue to have little intermediate catch-ups with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to close the podcast and say, have a great day, everyone.
Bye, y'all.